Welcome to the Raw Relationship Podcast, the unrefined, immodest, and brutally honest relationship podcast that you didn't know you needed. Grab your others, sit down with us, let's talk about love, life, and laughs, and get real raw. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Raw Relationship Podcast. We are on episode 6. Holy crap, baby, can you believe it?
I can't. I'm so excited that we're at episode 6.
I'm the Viking, also known as Brett, and this is...
I'm the Vixen. Candy.
There she is, baby.
Yeah.
This week, we're going to be talking about spicing it up in the bedroom. This is a topic that I know you snuck into your box that we pulled out last week, but it's going to be a good one.
I feel like it's going to be a really, really good one for all of our listeners because it's going to answer questions, and I don't know, that's what we're doing, so...
I think it's going to be a little bit more lighthearted than maybe the last couple.
Yeah, we needed something fun and funny and interesting.
So, more specifically, we're going to be talking about introducing toys and porn into the bedroom. Actually, not and toys and or porn. We're going to talk about it in two different subjects, whether you want to introduce one or the other or both. What are the aversions
or
and apprehensions?
Neither.
Yeah, maybe that doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what works for your relationship. What do you think you would want to bring in? Why wouldn't you want to? What are the pros and cons of introducing toys and or porn into your relationship? And how to talk to one another about all of that. And before we get too far into it, I just want to say, number one, this episode will be intended for mature audiences. It's going to get a little bit graphic, but not raunchy. And also, we are not licensed therapists, counselors in any way, shape, or form. Any advice we give or things that we talk about are based solely on our relationship, what we've learned, what we've tried, what's worked for us, what hasn't worked for us. And so it's really up to you to talk to your other and say, yeah, you know what, maybe we should try that. No, you know what, they're full of shit. Who knows? But
it's your relationship.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk raw about it.
Yeah. Well, we're talking raw about ours.
We're going to talk raw about ours. We really won't get too filthy, but the children out there of ours
might want to skip this one.
So it's up to you, but
we're not going to talk raw about your relationship. That's what you made it sound like. We're going to talk raw about your relationship, like we know you.
Well, we're hoping to get to know you.
Yeah. Well, listen, before we get started, we got a bit of whiskey, as we always do. This is Angel's Envy. This was suggested to us from a listener last week. And so we went out and got a bottle, and like I said, excuse me. We had a bit last week. We had a bit before one time. Haven't really dived into this one. As you can see, I've already tapped into a little bit. We did, try it
and
out.
You know what? We appreciate all of the suggestions, no matter whether or not we've had them. But we really appreciate them because it's whiskey.
And sometimes we have to revisit one we haven't had in a while.
Absolutely.
And so, anyway, before we get started, Slanchava.
Angel's Envy, thank you for the email. Thank you for the suggestion. We're excited about it. Tell me what you think about this one.
All right, so that's definitely... It is a little bit... I wouldn't say it's high end, but it's a... that was about a $45, $50 bottle. And... it tastes it. It's got some real complexity. It's straight bourbon aged in port wine barrels, but it doesn't, you can definitely taste sort of that port wine, but it doesn't make it sweet.
That's what I like about it the most. I'm not a big sweet fan. I'm obviously peat, smoky, musty, earthy.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because of that reason as well, but it's got that nice little burn to it. And it's definitely a very complex big whiskey.
Yeah, it's pretty bold. Yeah, it's got a big body, and it does have that burn at the end that lets you know that you're drinking some bourbon. Mm-hmm. I like it. So thank you for that suggestion. Yeah. We're going to enjoy this as the episode goes on, but I can't go on any further without noticing that you look fucking amazing. You put on a little sexy outfit for this topic, didn't you?
I did. I am wearing my birthday suit. I call it my birthday suit because you got me thigh brush for my birthday.
Yeah.
And I love my thigh brush. Thigh brush is a sexy clothing wear company that we got to meet at our local TVR here in our little Verde Valley, and they're rad.
Yeah,
They
TVR
make
is a
great
motorcycle
stuff.
rally that happens every year. And so if you've been to, I mean, they go to Sturgis, they go to the AVN Awards, the Erotica Awards, they go all over the country putting up their, but they're from here in Arizona, and we've got to meet them, and we bought some cool stuff. Thigh brush, for any of you who don't know, is actually the beard, the brush between the thighs. And thigh brush is all about making foreplay great again through cool apparel. And one day, it'd be really cool to have Mr. and Mrs. Thigh Brush on the episode.
Yeah, we would love that. I don't know
We'll
if
bring you guys on pod.
Yeah, I'm sure you are listening. We know you like us, so we're going to figure this out. We'll
Yeah, it'd be
figure it
cool.
out. I'll wear my birthday suit, and then I have shorts that say no beard, no booty, no ink, no pink. They've got some fun
They got
stuff.
fun stuff. We like them. So go check them out there at Thigh Brush on Instagram and everywhere else. So
I figured it'd be the appropriate outfit for talking about spicing it up and
yeah, well
the
played.
options.
Well played. It's also very distracting for me, so I'm going to have to focus either on the camera or on the whiteboard with our notes on it because...
Baby, are you sure?
Yeah, listen, lady. I got to try and do a podcast over here.
This is playing.
I'll get with you in about 45 minutes.
Okay. Cool. For about an hour and a half, please.
All right. Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
That was funny. All right, you guys.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. One more piece of housekeeping. If you're listening to this, we are now launched on YouTube. So if you want to see video versions of this podcast, we are on YouTube. If you want to send in suggestions, we are at rawlationshippod@gmail.com. I guess you don't put the at in front of an email, huh? rawlationshippod@gmail.com. All of our socials will be listed at the end of the episode and in the notes. But please, we'd love to hear from you. And YouTube is also Raw Relationship Pod.
Yeah, and feel free to comment on our episodes. I think that's kind of an easy way to just be like, hey, I'm going to interact with you guys.
Yeah.
We have put in the effort to make sure that we're on YouTube because we've been asked to do that. And that's part of the reason I wore my sexy outfit today.
She's doing it
So
again.
that-
She's doing it again.
So,
Damn it.
so that we can really enjoy the fact that we get to be on YouTube and we get to enjoy our listeners. And I'm super excited that this is our subject today. We will be posting other subjects on YouTube. So we hope that you're fans.
Yeah.
Let's get into
So
it,
come
baby.
on, let's get into it. All right. Spicing it up. We're going to do this in two categories. We're going to first talk about toys, and then we're going to talk about introducing porn into the relationship and what has worked and what hasn't worked for us. So, number one, what do you think are some of the aversions or apprehensions to introducing toys into your relationship? I want your point of view first.
All right, cool. I like that you're giving me my chance to say my point of view because in my past, there were a lot of aversions in introducing toys. We all know we experience the curiosity of them, you know, in those years, tween 20s, whatever. And they can be fun, but what if it makes your person feel uncomfortable? What if it makes you feel uncomfortable to have that sensation in front of them? The apprehension for me, I think, is how it would affect you or how to bring it up, how it would affect you for me to ask. I wouldn't want you to feel like you're lacking something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I like them and I just want to bring them in with us because we could have fun maybe. But I'm still apprehensive about it because of your feelings.
Because of my feelings.
Because of your feeling.
Well, I can tell. Okay, so personally, my experience, I've never had an issue with toys. I've always enjoyed them ever since as far as I can remember, my 20s is probably when I first started. And so I've always enjoyed it. My personal experience, my personal mindset when it comes to sex has always been, look, I know I'm going to get there. That's a no-brainer. I'd like to make sure that she
awesome.
also gets there. And
That's
so
a good man. You're a good partner. That is awesome.
And so if toys help out with that, great, because that's, anyway, I'm not going to get into, but I know that a lot of other guys, especially guys that I've talked to and sat with while our others are at a sort of sex toy party where
those
they're
are
shopping.
fun. The sex toy parties. Yeah. And it actually became a thing for a little while. Like I got invited to a couple. I don't know, maybe because I'm just wild and crazy at them. It's just fun.
Yeah. And you always bring home great toys. But the point is, a lot of the, I've been, hanging out with the guys while the girls are at that party. And so many of them are like, I don't know why she's doing this, or what is she buying, and she better not get one that's bigger than me, and I don't even know why she thinks she
better
needs
not get
this
one
thing.
that's bigger than me. Have you seen some of these
That's always the
dildos?
thing.
They're like,
I don't know.
I don't know, that big.
Yeah,
around.
I mean, get over your
Like,
size.
what are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that anyway?
Get over your size, guys.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It's not.
But I think I don't know why that's such an apprehension. I think maybe as guys we feel that if you're bringing in a toy, then it makes me feel inadequate. It makes me feel like I'm not giving you everything you need. And as guys, we need to feel like we are everything you need. So I think that could be some of the apprehensions of it. And before I go any further, I want to say, obviously, we're a male-female relationship, and so we're speaking from a male and female perspective. I don't know, as far as a same-sex relationship, if these same apprehensions or benefits or conversations happen. I can't speak to that, but I can tell you that I'd be fascinated to hear about it. So if you are in a same-sex relationship and you've had conversations about what we're talking about today, please drop us an email, and we'd love to
We can totally,
learn.
we can revisit this only because we don't know that world. And yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm really glad that you brought that
I'm a
up.
curious person. Okay, so when and how do you feel comfortable bringing up or bringing in toys?
I would have to say, are you asking me?
I'm asking you because
answer?
I know you already said, you said what you said about your apprehensions, but I know from our personal experience that you basically have said that before our relationship, you never really felt comfortable even bringing it up.
Oh, God, no. I didn't even feel comfortable touching myself during sex because I had a personal experience where it must have made the person feel uncomfortable and they belittled me for it. So why would you ever even think about mentioning bringing in a toy when you experience something like that? I don't know exactly where it came from. I just know that it affected me in a very negative context of being able to pleasure myself with another person. So I think when I felt comfortable about bringing toys, honey, was you. And it was because you looked at me and you said, baby, I want you to touch yourself. And it shocked me. I remember the first time you said it and I was actually like, really? And you looked at me and you were like, yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
And I never thought that it would be hot.
Yeah.
I just never thought. And I have to tell you, honestly, it was hot for me.
Yeah.
It turned me on when you enjoyed watching me do it. And it actually turned me on when I felt comfortable with it. It was really cool. So, I mean, thank you.
I think feeling comfortable for both partners is an incredible part of the turn on process, right? If you're uncomfortable, you can't get turned on. Right.
You have to, if you're in your head, you are not going to be able to reach that point.
Same with guys, 100%. And that's a huge thing with guys is getting into your head. But that's a discussion for another time.
That is a discussion I think that everybody, there's so much to talk about when it comes down to it.
I think you said something in that answer that really struck me that I want to reiterate is that you said you were belittled for even bringing it up.
I was belittled for doing it.
For doing it. Please don't ever do that. Regardless of your relationship, don't belittle
you
someone.
You are such a real person. I'm sorry. Please go.
You can approach that in so many different ways that are not belittlement. You can just say, look, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't really like that. That doesn't work for me. That doesn't turn me on. Let's find another way, whatever else, but not to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And it wasn't even in that sense. It was, so I did it and it was afterwards. I'm not going to go into all of the details about it, but it was afterwards, and I knew what was happening was kind of making fun of me in a way, and I almost wanted to look at him and be like, well, you're not doing it for me. So clearly I need to figure out something.
I think that goes back to what we were talking about. It's like, why is there so much apprehension about bringing toys in? Because so many guys feel like, well, if you need any other stimulus except just me, then I'm not doing it for you. And that makes me feel like less of a man. And I'm insecure. And so I don't like any of that stuff because you need to be only satisfied by just me and what I'm equipped with.
I feel like that is I feel like I say I feel too much. I think that is a really good point, honey. And the reason why is, to all of our listeners, we know our bodies. We know what we like. We know what makes us go. So when you talk about being uncomfortable and feeling insignificant in a way of introducing something that could actually make everything better, I think that that's a really good point. I also want to bring up, women sometimes don't. This is where it gets a little bit raw. We don't always come vaginally. The clitoris is the spot. And the best stimulation that can be put on the clitoris is vibration. When you introduce vibration during vaginal, it is incredible. I know I'm distracting you now. I can see the way you're looking at me. I just really want to put that out there because people feel uncomfortable about it. It really is. It's good.
Which is fantastic because you're bringing us right into our next bullet point here. Is that what do we each feel are the benefits of bringing in toys into the bedroom? And before that, I want to preface it by saying, for us personally, it's not every time. It's not even every few times that we come together in the bedroom that we actually break out toys.
Yeah, because sometimes it can actually interrupt it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's not an every time kind of thing. It's a little icing on the cake every once in a while. And we didn't even get into toys for guys. Honestly, I mean, I've shopped around a lot. There's not a whole lot. It's basically cock rings and vibrating cock rings and whatever.
The toys for guys are designed to help your woman.
Help the woman. Yeah. But not only,
because it helps the man.
Right. So, but not only though, because like a good ring will help you hang on a bit longer. Okay. All right. A little pressure down there helps you to hold out and go a bit longer. And that helps you to get there. But really, I mean, for me, the benefits, they're way more one-sided, honestly. They really benefit you. I mean, I enjoy being able to go a bit longer. I enjoy the vibrations that come through the mutual play, but I like the fact that I feel like a bit of the weight's taken off of my shoulders, a bit of the workload is taken off of me. I don't have to put in all the work to make sure that we get to that finish line. Like, I'm gonna do as best I can, but sometimes I can't do everything.
Oh, you mean when I use when anybody uses an outside source, like a sexual technology.
Right. Yeah. So if you add a little bit of external stimulus from a toy and...
Oh, they should make an iBrate, like an iPhone vibrator. I'm kidding.
No, it's there.
Ow.
It's there. It might be in your stocking on Christmas.
Okay.
We have the remote control deal. That's coming. Spoiler alert. Candy just found out her Christmas present.
The one that's not going to be brought out during family time.
Yeah. But I mean, that's for me from my own male point of view. That's the benefits that I see. Is that it from our limited experience, is two things. One, I get to last a bit longer, and two, we get to get you there. And like I said, because I'm gonna get there.
So I'm gonna chime in.
Please do.
This is what I'm calling. I'm gonna chime in. We're discussing things. So I'm going to chime in on that. I want to make it very clear that I absolutely love when we do have the awesome feeling of just, I mean, God, just going for it naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful. And it always does bring the most amazing feelings and everything. There is times where you both kind of want a quickie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Sometimes it's just fun to just get that quickie.
Yeah.
And I feel vibration does something for both partners.
Mm-hmm.
So if we put vibration on me and vibration on you, and we've got 5 minutes, we're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen.
It's inevitable.
30
we
seconds.
don't have control over that. It's our nerve endings. It's our body.
Yeah.
If you push something vibrating onto that point on your body and you don't remove it, you're going to orgasm.
Yeah.
You're going to. There's
And
nothing to be
why would you
ashamed
not want to?
about that.
Yeah.
So when to choose when to do it.
When to choose when to do it. You gotta choose what you're comfortable with. I mean, if you're shopping online or you end up deciding to walk into a store that sells all these kind of toys, I mean, you know, that's something we've done. And you kind of, what are we both comfortable with? You're not going to be like, if you're with a guy who's like, well, I don't know why she's buying something that's bigger than me, and you pull out a 14-inch dildo and be like, so I'd like to bring this home. You're like, that's not going to go over well.
Well, the other day when we decided to stop into that store that was off the beaten path and almost looked like you could be pulled behind it.
Yeah.
I saw a giant 2-liter bottle size.
Yeah.
I want you to feel comfortable. I will never want that.
Okay, thank you.
I don't even know how that fits or where you put it or if it's just a joke. But
right. Yeah, so talk about it together. If either of you are feeling like this is something you want to bring into your relationship, talk about it to one another. I guess the only thing we have on this topic is there any downside?
I think the downside for it is if you don't communicate about it.
Sure.
Oh, you mean the downside if you do communicate? Let me rewind.
No, just to the whole situation of, if you decide you want to bring toys into the relationship, is there a downside that comes out of that?
There is. So here's my point of view.
Please.
You got me a really awesome toy. Obviously, we have toys for my birthday. And I really enjoy it. And it's cool. I feel like the downside would be to introduce it every time. Okay. Because you don't need to. Don't lose the natural feeling. If you ever completely step away from missionary, kissing, touching, foreplay, and you just jump into, I just need that. I just need the O. You're screwed because now you've lost all the physical attributes of making love. And you pushing me up against the wall and not trying to figure out which toy we're pulling out of a drawer or taking time to interrupt that passion. That's the downside.
I think that's a good point. The downside for me, I feel, is you become entirely reliant on toys to be able to have any intimate time together. Yeah,
that's totally that's a downer, man. Don't do it.
Yeah, again, we're talking about this in the sense of like frosting on a cake.
Yeah, frosting on it. Oh my God. That's exactly what it is. It's frosting on a cake. Don't blow your cake up, man.
Yeah.
Don't ruin your cake.
Just a little bit of frosting every once in a while. It's not something you have to rely on. And if you find yourself like having to rely on, then you need to have some probably difficult but serious discussions about why you're not getting there with each other.
And I feel like that's really important. Like, honestly, I feel like that's really important to bring up. It's a subject that a lot of people really don't want to touch base on.
It's a very
man or woman.
Yeah,
it is for
100%.
Women as well.
Yeah.
When you are not stimulated as a woman, you don't have that part that needs to stand up, but you have that part that needs to lubricate.
Yeah.
So on both sides, if there's something lacking, go talk to a professional because there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. But if you completely pull sex from your love life, it's done. And I feel like a lot of people get confused about, am I in love with you because I'm not able to have sex or things are different? And so relationships can change, and people go, oh, maybe it's because I'm not with that other person. Well, then you stray, and you're going to find out that the relationship and the love you have with the person you originally decided not to explore the options with, you fucked up.
Yeah.
That is a deeper connection than physical.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And man, I'm sorry I couldn't. I went out for a bit there. That was because
I lowered my top.
Yeah, there was that. There's also just there's a lot to talk about, and I really feel like we should probably put a topic in the box that is like really discusses like all of that.
We should.
Everything you just said. Like I mean, like really seriously, like ED and dysfunction and losing the drive and all of those things that are really so prevalent and very common and so not want to be talked about.
For all the partners.
Yeah.
All the partners all day.
Both partners have things that get in the way from a physical standpoint that affect the sexual situation. So let's table that and talk about it another time.
Absolutely. We're going to table that, but this is why you have the options of spicing it up. I really appreciate the way that you put that out there. I feel like it's extremely important, and I feel like all of our listeners are going, oh my God. They're going to feel comfortable with the idea of elimination.
Well, listen, everything we talk about is something that we've personally dealt with.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Right. So.
And now we're going to move on to another one.
Right. So we've kind of covered toys. Now we're going to talk about should you or should you not, or would you enjoy or would you not enjoy introducing porn into your bedroom.
Porn is a big subject. Porn. Oh my God, you don't even know this about me, and there's not a lot of people that do, but I'm just gonna say it. I started watching porn when I was 10.
Wow.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
The reason that happened, and it wasn't like, oh, I watched it. I kind of was watching it for like 1 second, only because I have older brothers, and I walked by and the door was open, and I happened to see it. It was a weird feeling for me. And it's not something that you should experience at that age. So it plays in on all different things, but porn it's kind of like the 4-letter word.
Yeah.
I just shocked him. He didn't know that. That's seriously.
I mean, it's not shocking. I mean, it's whatever.
I don't even know if I should have even said it.
No, of course.
It was like a quick like peek thing, but you know what? This is where we are. And if at some point that happens, don't it needs to be taken as a grain of salt. It's everywhere nowadays. But there's porn on TV. It's soft porn everywhere, babe.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you started that sentence, you made it sound like I started watching porn at 10 instead of I happened to see porn at 10.
Okay. So it's a little faux pas.
Words matter.
It's okay. Yes.
Yeah. There's a difference
Yeah.
between like I was 10 years old and I was rummaging through old Playboys, when we were 10, we couldn't Google. There was no Google.
Oh
Or I was walking by an open doorway and happened to glance a picture of whatever. So.
It was like even the cable, how you fix the cable and it was like fuzzy?
The scrambled?
Yeah, it was a scrambled one.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was.
But I knew what it was.
The Spice Channel.
Because of the sound.
Yeah. Oh. But listen, I don't want to get into all the different ways we tried to watch porn before the internet. But I will say this. I'm going to make a bold statement. Hot take.
Ooh.
Every guy likes porn.
They do.
To one degree or another. I'm not here to say there's anything wrong with that.
I honestly don't think there is anything wrong with it. I feel that's, you know what? Let's talk about this because
Okay.
you guys need to feel comfortable with that.
That's where I was going to go. Thank you. Because I have been told my entire life that is dirty, that's shameful, that's awful, that's sinful. You shouldn't ever partake in that. And so it becomes a thing where you have to hide it. And I don't think that's ever a good thing. Now, in the context of this episode, we're talking about introducing into your relationship and watching together. Right? So, pros and cons. I'll start this one if you don't mind.
I want you to. Yeah. Oh my God. We're so on the same page. I was just going to say to you, I would like to know your point of view first on this one.
So I think the pros of maybe introducing porn into your relationship are, it's just like toys. It's just another thing to kind of spice things up. You know, we've been together for 10 years, as we have discussed
10
on
wonderful
previous
years.
And not to say that anything's boring, but it's always fun to add a little bit something more into it.
Well, it's just like toys. It's like, I don't know, we're on vacation. You know, we have that projector thing.
Right. So
every now and then.
Again, and this is even more few and far between than how we use toys.
Yes.
As far as our bedroom life.
So much, it's almost like, hey, do you want to do that tonight? It's like it's like a special date
very
night thing.
few and far in between, but it's like it does make it kind of special. It's like, ooh, all right, let's spice this up a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll dress up and
give
and
then
you
we'll
your
play
fantasy
games with it.
And,
we'll play games with it and be like, okay, let's imitate everything they do on screen.
Oh my God, I made him dress up like a doctor one time.
That's true.
It was so good.
But
it was so fun.
and we can get more into that. But
we won't.
If we're going into no, I'm sorry, not into the doctor thing, but no, just oh man,
we're both beat red on this episode.
Yeah,
I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna need more whiskey.
No. Anyway, I think as a few and far between, as in every once in a while, it's a fun thing. For us, it's just like a fun thing. When, you know, do I want to tell that story? So, like, we've been to a couple lifestyle-friendly resorts.
Yes.
And they're all inclusive, including the cable package in the room. Because there's always like 3-4 channels of just straight porn going all the time.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason that is. But you honestly can get kind of like, all right, enough.
You know, it does get to a point where you're like I'm
Jesus,
starting to feel kind of like, I need to watch like Family Ties.
Yeah, right.
I need 8 is enough in my life right now.
So I guess that could fall into, okay, so we're talking pros and cons. One of the cons is that it loses. It loses. If you watch the same movie over and over, you know, it just, regardless of what it is, it just kind of loses its appeal. So too much of it, it just doesn't become fun or exciting anymore. The other con, I think, or the minus con of introducing it into your relationship is that, now this is a very fine sort of edge to walk, and especially speaking from a guy's point of view. We talked about how most guys in society have been shamed into thinking it's all wrong and sinful. So to find out with your other that, hey, I'm cool with that. Let's explore it together. Let's have a little fun here. That green light can have the negative effect of letting a guy go, well, if she's cool with it together, then she's cool with it across the board. And then you just go off into this world of where you're just diving into porn on your own. Oh. And just having your own wank and satisfying yourself. And then you don't have the need to be with your other.
Wow. That's raw. That's That's real. Like that's some.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad that I had you answer that question first because that is super. That's super. God, that's so important. Men are into porn completely. If it's introduced into it, it's almost like I'm not gonna go there because but it's almost like you get a little bit of chocolate and now, or it's like it becomes an addiction.
It is.
Is that an okay word to use?
100% addiction is the right word.
Is addiction okay word to use on porn? Can you be addicted to it?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
1,000%.
I didn't know if that would be like totally sound uneducational or stupid, but
no, you're 100% right.
It sounds like it could possibly be an addiction.
It's a vice, just like this whiskey is a vice. It's just like
Whiskey's
cigarettes
my
or
favorite
weed
vice.
or any other drug. It's a vice, and I've always said all things in moderation, including moderation.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, I know whiskey's a vice that can be very addictive. I know that porn is a vice that can be very addictive.
Sex is a vice that can be very addictive, and that's
100%.
why sometimes people cheat.
Yeah, right. So that's why I brought it up, is it could be iconic. It's just like you have to really be. I don't even know if this is a conversation that you would have with your other. I'm just saying. I'm speaking directly to the guys. Like if you and your partner are okay bringing porn into the relationship, that is not a green light for you to go full on into addiction to the other direction.
This guy is amazing. That is, oh my God. I'm just gonna open my shirt for you, baby. You deserve it.
Thank you.
I just want to say, what a really cool insight you just gave for so many people out there. Because you know what, guys? Have your boundaries, man. Be okay. Like, you know what? If your woman is like, hey, babe, you know what? I'm going to be okay with bringing porn in. Have your boundaries and don't take it too far. And also to my ladies out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
please
talk to my ladies out there.
Absolutely.
We're speaking from experience, and I don't have double D boobs. I'm not like super hot, and I'm not a porn star. When you feel uncomfortable about that fact and you're in a relationship and you feel like your guy might want that more than you, it can be degrading. It can be uncomfortable. It can ruin the bedroom. That's my minus for it.
And that's a very valid point. I think you need to understand that both men and women, you have to understand that porn is a fantasy. It's a movie. It's just as fake as the Avengers. All right?
Captain Marvel's real, though. I'm right here. Right here.
Look, that chick is as real as the Hulk. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're not wonderful people, but there's a ton of makeup. There's a ton of filters. There's a ton of things that are going on. Listen, if you're a pizza delivery guy, there's no chick waiting on the other side of the door to bang you when you get there delivering a pizza. All right? This is all fantasy stuff. So, and remember that the looks, the enhanced, the everything. But to your point, I don't think, can't speak for all guys at all.
But you can speak for you, and you are such a man's man.
But I can't.
Guys love you.
And I do enjoy looking at porn. Here, I think I'm weird in this way that I actually don't really look at porn to have a wank. I almost use it more like a Twitter feed, like just scrolling through and like, what are these sluts up to today? All right, and I'm out.
So it's like it's the articles in the Playboy.
Oh no, I only get Playboy for the stereo reviews. That used to be a thing. I just dated myself so much that I'm fucking talking about stereo reviews in a Playboy article, which was a thing.
I'm gonna hide behind my microphone. I'm going to
But-
say, as your partner, I completely appreciate that, only because I'm totally into education. And I don't know, but that's our relationship. Like, that's our relationship. And we're speaking to so many millions of people right now that our relationship is different from that relationship. You scrolling through a Twitter feed and me knowing that you're watching whatever you're watching, I'm okay with it because I don't know. It doesn't offend me. But if I can be completely honest with you, in my last relationship before you, it would have devastated me.
Understood. And honestly, I got
But you've made me feel comfortable enough
that. Well,
in our relationship.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got distracted while I was making that point. Is to say that I'm not looking at any kind of porn because I'm looking for something that you don't have, or you don't do enough, or you're not enough.
It's like
You know what I
watching
mean?
it's just like going down a rabbit hole. It's like just flipping.
It's like kind of going
channel
down a YouTube
surfing.
rabbit hole. It's just like, oh, whatever. But
It really is that
Point is-
nowadays, babe. Like, it really is.
the point is, don't ever let that become what takes away from you the intimacy of your own relationship. All right. So if you decide to introduce porn into your relationship, and guys, you take that as a green light to go down the porn rabbit hole every single day, and then all of a sudden your intimate relationship starts to decline, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, if you start looking to something else to come, it's not going to come.
Right.
What is it if yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to say we haven't talked about it a whole lot, but I know that each of us will have a little me time every once in a while.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that. But if that takes over and your intimate relationship starts to fall behind, like if instead of you and I coming together on an intimate level on a regular basis, then we're just taking care of that on our own. And now we're not coming together for a couple weeks or a month, or that's a problem.
So I think it's really cool that you bring this up. I shouldn't even say cool because I mean I don't know if I'd even label it as cool. I'm gonna share this real quick. I feel compelled to share this. Whatever. I'm shelling. Actually, that's actually like the perfect term. I'm gonna shell some shit with you guys. When you play with your own physical body and it feels good, and you have a moment where for me personally, I learn about myself. I feel like a lot of women, oh my God, life is so busy. There's children, there's this, there's that, there's this. It gives me a minute to just kind of figure out how to silence everything and to feel. I'm connecting my brain with my girl. And it actually helps a lot. I
like that.
I have actually realized we've been together for 10 years, babe. I have never had a better love life in my life. And it's
Same.
not because of how amazing you are. And and we're not going to say his name online. But it's because you've made me feel comfortable with myself enough that I explore myself. And I take that to the bedroom with me. When I get quiet, I'm getting there. You don't have to scream. You don't have to do all those things. You don't have to be porn. You're not.
Right.
You're not that. You're feeling it, girl. Like just fucking shut it down for a minute and let your brain connect with your girl and get there. It's so important. Your you time for you is just as important. If you like the tip the most, then you just go ahead and you think about that. And then when you get there, you're going to think about that. Like, you have to be in touch with each other. Like, we're always talking about communication and physical communication.
Mm-hmm.
We're hitting on sexual communication now, aren't we? Yeah, we are. That's this week. This just happened.
I just learned something.
This just happened.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Cheers to sexual
cheers to that.
communication.
You know, that, sorry. You have to drink after cheers.
It's a thing.
I think the hardest things to talk about in a relationship, right? Money, sex.
Politics.
No,
I'm just kidding. It's not even a thing.
You know, money and sex are two of the hardest things to talk about. So let's talk about it. I would like to try and get us back on track a little bit.
I didn't mean to go off track.
No. I think that was fantastic.
I feel like it was really important for all the girls out there that are struggling with it. That's it.
Honestly, we could probably cut the episode right here and have that just be like fantastic and done.
But we shouldn't. I think people are listening right now. I think that we've left them with
because we wanted to talk about a couple other things as far as. I'm so glad that we went down that rabbit hole on that side. I think that was fantastic. I think you spoke amazing things, and I'm better for hearing it. But to get back to what we were talking about. So if you're going to introduce porn into your relationship and you have a difference in interests, what do you do then? Do you give a little bit of time to each one? Well, I kind of like this. I kind of like that. All right, well, let's try a little bit of that. No, that really doesn't work for me. That feels weird. I don't want to watch that. You just kind of go back and forth until you land on something that you're both into.
So I feel like personally, like you said, it's few and far between for us, right?
Right.
So we had the moment when we were in bed and we decided we're going to try to watch porn together, and we were totally just into it on that same level, wine, whiskey, whatever.
Right.
So we decided to open up the phone after we already started making out, and it completely ruined the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the thing is okay. Here's a tip. Whenever we bring it in at this point now, because we've done that. We're like, kind of getting hot and heavy and like, oh, should we throw on some porn? And like, yeah, cool. And then we sit there and scroll through a site for like 20 minutes trying to find something, and it kills the mood completely. So decide ahead of time, hey, maybe tonight we should throw on a little something and then play along or just have it part of our time. But pick something that's long. What we found best was we actually we ordered a couple full-length movies.
Oh my God, what were the names of them?
High budget, high-end movies that actually have a storyline. So you can sit and watch it for a while, and then the sex scene comes on, and you're like, all right, it's kind of getting
because you're actually into the movie, and then all of a sudden they're starting to like touch each other. It's not soft car, it's hardcore.
No, they were hardcore. They were like, these were movies that like, what we did is we searched the highest budget porn movies ever made. Because we didn't want the cheesy, what are you doing, step bro? All this stupid shit. So we searched out the highest.
This might be my favorite episode. This is the funniest shit ever.
And it totally worked.
Oh my God.
Obviously, we I don't think we've still have finished the movie.
I think it was it the Top Gun one?
We got
the Pirates of the Caribbean.
The Pirates one, and then there was a Top Gun sort of spinoff.
It's great when it's a movie, though, isn't it? Because you start with a normal storyline. It's not a 10-minute porn.
Listen, and if you're in a house like we are, where you don't have kids, and you can just sit and put it on the big screen and be like, let's watch a movie. And then all of a sudden that movie turns pornographic, and you're like, all right, this night just took a turn for the better.
Yeah.
But I guess the point is, don't try to interrupt once you're in the heat of it and be like, hey, let's try and find something.
Oh my God.
Because that gets so weird. Because
we did it.
especially when you're like, I don't know if I want to show her what I'm really into. Is she going to think I'm weird if I suggest this one? Is he going to think I'm weird if I suggest this? Is he going to think I'm weird because I actually know porn stars' names?
Right? I think seize the opportunity. Do it. I don't know. It just seems like
Well, if that door's already open,
yeah.
right? If you're already open to the idea of, yeah, let's pick out something to watch, then yeah, throw it out there. But listen, if it's just not for you, and we acknowledge that this is probably not for a lot of people.
No, it's not. Especially it's in a very spiritual, religious, throw it out, whatever standpoint. You have your values, you have your things. There's a lot of people that would think that that is absolutely dirty. It's a 4-letter word. Let's just bring it full circle. It's not something that's for everybody, just like, alternative lifestyles aren't for everybody and different choices aren't for everybody. Bottom line is if you feel like maybe you might want to talk about it, talk about it. If your person isn't there, chuck it.
And that's, 100%. Because this particular episode, we're talking about sex toys and porn. But there are so many other options if you want to spice it up. Yeah. But this isn't for you. We're not saying that this has to be for you or this is the only thing that's going to spice things up. Absolutely not.
We don't know you.
Right.
You're yourself.
This is something that we find cool every once in a while. But if you're not into that, but you want to spice it up, what did you say? Get position of the day cards?
Oh, yeah. There's position cards.
Kama Sutra book.
There's fun. Or maybe even just talk about, hey, if you're always in missionary, I don't know, you might like to look up at her while she's there.
Yeah. Yeah, just change up your position. Or maybe you're into just a little costume change every once in a while.
Or a costume change. But you know what, honey? One of the things that we haven't even talked about all day today when we were even kind of bullet pointing everything that we were going to bring up on this is anxiety and yeah.
Excuse me. Okay.
Psychological things. Like we're not going to go too deep into it, but sometimes people aren't comfortable with these things because of their past. So we'll leave that one at that. Respect your partner's needs emotionally. Communicate. Honesty is so important because if your partner says, hey, do you want to do this? And you say yes, and you don't, you are screwed. Yeah,
but at the same time, if your partner says, hey, do you want to do this? And you say, no, not at all. That's okay. Because you're being totally honest.
Yeah.
Maybe say, but let's explore other options.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other ways.
Or even just, you know what, you guys, if you're comfortable exactly where you are and how you are, don't even worry about it, man. If you guys have the most beautiful love, dancing in the living room and carrying each other off to bed or just doing whatever it is that you do or just laying next to each other and engaging in the lovemaking that you do, you don't need to change anything about you.
I think that's a great point because we're not saying if you're not doing these things then your love life isn't up to par. Like if you have it and everything is going great for you and you don't need any of this. I think the point of us even bringing this up was I think a lot of couples feel like I'd like to bring this in or I'd like to experiment with this, but I feel uncomfortable with it. And so we're just trying to say, look, we have experimented with these things and it was fun for us and we do it every once in a while. We bring it in. And so if you are feeling like you might want to, here's how to approach it. Here's how to talk about it.
That's exactly.
And here's what to look out for.
That's exactly. Oh my God. I love that we're doing this podcast. I know I've said it before. I really feel deeply that this is going to be a thing. Because it is raw.
It's a thing.
It's so real. We are not judgmental. We just have us
Mm-hmm.
to give and what we've been through. And everything that we touch base on is completely us.
Yeah.
Like 1,000% on every episode. I feel extremely satisfied with where this episode went. How do you feel? Do you have
I
anything
love
to
it. I mean,
add?
this is why we only do bullet points to kind of help keep us on track a little bit, but leave so much open room for us to conversate. And we don't really speak about what we're going to talk about at beforehand, because I really love these raw conversations that we have with each other, and we don't script anything out. So it always kind of goes the way it's supposed to go, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's universal.
Yeah, it goes wherever it was supposed to go, even though maybe we laid out it should go here, here, and here, but it went there, and that was the right thing anyway. I hope so. Let us know. I mean, is this helpful to you at all? and please, if it is helpful to you and you're enjoying it, tell a friend. All right, so that's it for this week's episode. But now we have to get into your box to find out what we're going to be talking about on next week's episode.
Okay, hold on. Up high.
All right, next week.
Pick a good one. Pick a good one.
All right, next week we'll be talking about. Fuck. It had to happen. The 5 love languages, adults and kids. All right, so you told me a couple weeks ago that kids have love languages. So I'm actually kind of interested to explore that. There it is. It had to be done, folks. It's a relationship podcast, and it had to happen. We're talking about the 5 love languages next week. The misconceptions, the realities, what they're really all about.
I feel like that's a freaking awesome. You guys, every time I say field, go ahead and drink. That's an awesome
Just got a lot of feels.
episode topic. And the fact that kids have love languages is really interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and do some research on that before we do the episode.
Yeah, no, that's a good. That'd be the first time we ever did that. Research a topic we're going to talk about? What?
We know
How
toys and
strange.
porn. Why would we do that? I don't know. We did
All right,
go
so that's
to
what we'll be
this
talking
one.
about next week.
Yep.
Be sure to join us then. We'll be on all the apps and the YouTubes as well. All right, thanks for being here, everybody. We love you. Sláinte va. See you next Tuesday. Thanks again for listening, and if you'd like to support our show, please take just a minute to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It really does help us out, and it doesn't cost you a thing.
Don't forget to email us your questions, raw relationship stories, comments, and whiskey suggestions. We will be pulling the next topic out of my box.
And if you want to get into Candy's box, email us at rawrelationshippod@gmail.com, and you can find us on all the socials at Raw Relationship Podcast. Thanks again.
Cheers.